Now that I've got some images in, I'm going to show you a little bit of the side here where we've got our components and then we've got our layers. And we're not going to worry about plugins. So down below your tools, it works a little bit differently again than what you might have had before. So these libraries over here are what we're going to call components, and they are elements that are repeated throughout, and they're things that maybe you're going to interact with. So below that is our layers. Now, this is closer to what you're used to maybe in Photoshop or Illustrator. Each of our artboards is going to be the top thing that comes up because that's kind of like our top level of layers. And there's a lot of grouping that we might end up doing as we go along. So think of this as like our big top level group. So if you click on your start, you'll see that that guy is kind of highlighted, and or we could go over to slide 1, you'll see that's highlighted. Now I don't have anything in slide 1 right now, so if I double click on slide 1, you'll notice there are no layers, and then there's a little arrow that tells me I can go back out to my artboard level. The start artboard, though, if I double click on it, has things in it. As you can see, I've got 3 image levels, and my SVG Kiwi. And you'll see that the Kiwi has got this little icon that looks like a folder. It's basically saying that this is a group of elements. And if I double click on that group, you'll see I've got these other 2 groups, group 2, which has the path for my Kiwi bird, and group 1 here. And again, if I click on the actual icon of a folder, it kind of toggles whether or not you can see the thing. And then this is the ellipse that's under it. So if I click on the actual little folder, it will collapse or expand what's in it. And order does matter, same as it does in things like Photoshop. If it's at the top, it's on top of everybody. So if I wanted this to be underneath my Kiwi, I'd have to drag it underneath. This again becomes particularly important when you have elements that say have transparency and you want them to be seen over something else. You'll want to make sure that you have it in the right place. It gives you a lot of tooltips along the way, as you can kind of tell. So dragging things up and down, you'll see the little blue bar there. It tells you what position it'll be in. So this would be at the top. And the other thing that it will allow you to do is put things into other groups. So you'll see I can drag it into the group with the Kiwi. And if I want it to come back out, I kind of drag it just back out. And there we go. My Kiwi is now on top of everybody. And my text is underneath the slide. So again, you can kind of see here, this is on top of the Kiwi. This is inside these groups. And if it's just held blue and you don't see the little bar, it's telling you it's going into the thing. And you can kind of see the various levels here. That would be inside the Kiwi, between the Kiwi itself and the ellipse. And this is outside the Kiwi, would be on this kind of top level you can see there. So it's going to be important to know what artboard your elements are in, and then again, if things are grouped, to be able to see where they are. Because as you can see, we can then go ahead and edit the actual path itself if we want to. If I double click on this path, I can edit the properties like the fill and the border and the drop shadow of that path. Same thing with the ellipse. I'm going to show you how to draw things like the ellipse straight into XD, and then we'll be able to edit those properties. So that'll be in the next video, but just to keep in mind, this is kind of how layers work here. And if I wanted to group it, that was the last thing I wanted to do. If I wanted to, for example, group my face and this background with no text, I can just either Command G, groups it. I'm going to edit undo. Or if you go up and you go to Object, Command G here, groups them. And then if you want to ungroup them, Shift Command G ungroups things. So that'll come into play later, but I wanted to mention that here. So in the next video, we're going to take a look at drawing our own shapes and changing properties of shapes like the Kiwi bird. So for the next video, I will not have my Facebooky guys in there.